And then the weather played a huge part into, my sadness.
Yeah. It's crazy you say alcohol
Yeah.
because you said you when you drank it wasn't immediate, right? So it took like a couple of days. Or was this like a pattern that you noticed? Like every time you drank, it was a few days, and then you felt
Yeah, so it was like, when you're drinking and you're being social, you're happy, so you're
right.
up, you're high on life, you know what I mean?
Yo,
And
yeah,
as the alcohol begins to wean itself out of your system, you you like, hold on,
yeah.
I'm angry, I'm worried,
You
life's
know
not
it's
going good.
yeah. You know it's crazy. I need to pay attention to this. I need to pay attention to that
Hmm.
because I am a social drinker, and sometimes, probably more often than I should, I do drink at home with my wife, right?
Right.
Um, and we have those ebbs and flows. So I'm glad you gave me this idea because now I could pay attention. I could be like, okay, we had some drinks. I'm gonna monitor myself now because I'll feel down and I'm not sure why. So I, drink coffee
Hmm.
or energy drink and try to bring myself back up. And you probably just solved this issue for me. So I mean, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna monitor and it could be that you probably just solved one of my craziest things. So that's crazy. Just from talking, like
Yeah.
just from meeting and doing stuff like this, crazy. I would have never thought. So I know alcohol is a depressant, right? And
Hmm.
people who can become alcoholics and just be addicted. I'm not addicted. I was never addicted where I need to have a flask and drink all the time, but
That's what
that
they
could be
all
a
say,
fact.
bro.
No, no, I don't. I don't need to be somewhere and pull out a flask and take a swig every 2 minutes. You know what I'm
Got you.
saying? I'm not a drunkard, but that's interesting. So now I'm going to monitor myself because that's very interesting. And so as far as the Walmart, was it just the people being around people, like a social anxiety thing, or
Yeah, so it was two things that actually led up to the diagnosis of anxiety and depression. So one, let me take that. First, my father passed, and I
sorry to
was
hear
his
that? Yeah.
primary. I was thank you. I was his primary caregiver, and like I said, was his, and it's like he took up so much time of my day with his care, making sure he had his medicine, all of that stuff. So once he passed, it was like I had nothing to fill up that space. So all I did was overthink and
Mm,
just try to just put in it to make myself busy.
right.
But you can't replace a parent, and you can't replace the things that you did for your parent.
Facts.
So that was a little that was a little while. And then I had an accident. My father passed in December, and then that January I was involved in a hit and run crash. A
Wow.
head a head what
Head
do you
on
call it?
collision.
A head-on collision with a hit-and-run driver. The person
Wow.
got out and ran on foot, and
Wow.
it was
What?
myself was leaving from church. So of course you get on the after that. I couldn't get on the interstate. I couldn't go above 55,
Right. Yeah.
and then dealing with that and just life happening. And I was going to the doctor with excruciating pain. And and I talk about it a little bit, on a couple of other platforms, where when I went to the doctor, it was so crazy. She was doing CT scans and MRIs and just all these batteries of tests, and everything was coming back within range, everything was coming back good. And I just kept saying, no, it's got to be something. I'm saying something
Right.
wrong. I'm having chest palpitations. I'm having. So she said, all your labs are within range, and she asked me, she said, have you experienced any, changes in your lifestyle? And I immediately said, oh, that was my father. And she said, okay. And I said, and I was involved in an accident. And she said, well, that explains everything. She
Mm.
said, you're suffering from anxiety and depression.
Mm.
And at that time, I tell anybody, I probably could have took her saying, you got some tumor or something. But when she's saying anxiety and depression, I was like, now what are we gonna do about that?
Right. Right. Like, how do you
I don't
fix
even.
that?
Yeah, how do we fix this thing? And I need to be fixed like today, because
Hmm.
I got to be better, because I can't keep operating like this. Laying in bed for days at a time, missing meals, missing events and stuff, and just no real reason. I don't feel like it. I don't
Right.
feel like it. And my kids experiencing it and seeing it firsthand, and used to having a vibrant mom, and
Mm.
and I just a shell of a person. So that was how we got to that. And then everything after that was they put you on medicine.
Right.
The medicine is numbing. Um,
When you say numbing,
and
is it mentally
Yeah,
numbing?
yeah.
Like
Talk
it?
about that.
yeah, so the medicine is don't that I'm not, but the medicine, it kind of like a nerve blocker or something. If I had to
Right.
describe blockers, so all that, um, you really don't have any pain
So
receptors.
it's like
And
a painkiller, but more so than for physical pain, it's like emotional. Maybe it just like dulls you
right,
down. It makes you not worry about stuff, or like an
Hmm.
antidepressant.
right. So the whole world can be in an
it,
uproar, the whole in a tizzy, and you be over there like,
it
it
reminds
ain't
me of
me.
that meme with the dog in a house and his flames all around. He's like, "This is
Oh
fine."
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so yeah. So you got officially diagnosed, and would you say the medication helps you climb out of that, like, or are you did you find other avenues, other natural
Hold on.
avenues, or yeah,
I feel like I got better, but I did go through a really bad breakup where he said I can't deal with you like this. I hold you back. I want to vibrate you because it didn't bring me back to the vibe. It gave a
the person you
mediocre
were before,
nonchalant.
yeah.
Right. So it's I still say that's being a shell of a person because I still wasn't Shintina,
Mm,
but I wasn't that broken down, crying at the drop of a dime person either. So I guess it was like if there's such thing as a happy medium, it was a happy medium, but it
But you
still
weren't
didn't bring,
happy.
huh?
But you weren't happy.
Um, I was functioning. So when you
That's
when,
enough.
when you're going through, when you're at your low, you're crying. Madame, you're crying, you're angry, you're upset, you're everything. Your emotions are all out of range, and it can go like switch. But with the medicine, it's like the whole world can be falling down, and you really don't even care. Like, but then the old you is a happy, bubbly, energized, you know, positive person. So it really doesn't, it's like people are learning to deal with you in this new state, but it's not you.
right.
It's like wearing a costume, I guess.
Did you
Yeah.
feel like? Did you feel like you were like a puppet in your body? Did you feel like you were
Yeah,
just going through the motions?
it was like a fold. It was like an out of body experience. It was like at the end of the day, you did the things you were supposed to do, but how did those things make you feel?
Hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Was it good? No, I just ate it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah.
Hmm.
I have experiences like that. I'm sure mostly everybody's like things that you used to enjoy doing, playing games, watching movies, being creative, whatever. And it's like when you get through these, when you go through these, bouts of depression, it's like they don't even appeal to you anymore. It's like you don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, that is a struggle. Like I said, minds could be triggered by alcohol. So like focusing on the trigger. So like when you found your triggers, was that by an accident, or I know you probably monitored yourself, but once you identified them, what did you do to basically lessen the triggers, or like just eradicate them from your life?
It was definitely me trying to get off the medicine. My main objective was I have to do to get off of these medicines. I don't like the
Facts.
way they make me feel. I don't like the way they make me operate. I'm not myself.
Right.
And I mean that's like to is this is not me. This is not how I was. And it's one thing to lose, a boyfriend, like, boyfriends come and go. He ain't my husband, he my
Hmm.
boyfriend. And
Right.
it felt like feeling like I had lost me, and I'm
Right.
like, hold on, I gotta get me because I don't like this person.
Yeah. So I want to commend you that you know who you were. You didn't want to feel like that, and so you made moves to change and to go back and find the old Shantina. So that's pretty dope. A
Hmm.
lot of I think people need to hear that message.